What's up, G.I. Joe fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator today. Guys, got another fun one for you. Got another top 10, if you will. I was asked by a good buddy of mine, Fred Hall. Check his channel out. Awesome comic book collector. Fred Hall Direct, I believe. Super collector, comic book collector. And playfully made a comment and said, he would like to see me do maybe like my top 10 action figures that I really like. So I'll do, because I have so many, guys. I have so many in my museum. So I wanted to kind of start with my top 10 favorite G.I. Joes that are in my collection. My museum collection here. And I could pick about 30 of my absolute top, top G.I. Joe, favorite G.I. Joes that's in my museum. But if I hate to say this, because I believe in that bad karma stuff. But if I was in a rush and I had to leave the museum and I only could take maybe eight or 10 G.I. Joes with me to protect them, these would be the G.I. Joes. These are the G.I. Joes that I have a special connection to in some way or another. There's some cool history behind these G.I. Joes. Whether they were just super tough to find, super rare, something that connects me to these G.I. Joes. And the fact that they are just, fantastic. So I want to do this top 10 G.I. Joe, my top 10 G.I. Joe list for you. And I guess let's start here. My electronic Battle Command Duke, I believe, came out in 1993. And I was on a mission to get all of the G.I. Joe Hall of Fame figures. And I had a collector buddy of mine tell me one day, it stopped over at the museum. He's like, "You're missing one." And I said, "I'm missing. It's no way I'm missing one. I have all of them." And he was right, actually. He's like, "No, you're missing the electronic Battle Command Duke." This guy supposedly says over 1,000 battle commands and sounds. I said, "Get out of here, for real?" He said, "Yeah, you're missing one, man, and that's the one." And so I went searching, went on a hunt for this figure, and this was years later. So I did not purchase this guy back in 1993. I purchased this guy probably in like 2014 or 2015, somewhere around there. 2014, I think. I don't know how this guy, I've been collecting so many G.I. Joes. This guy fell through the, under the radar, I should say. But I got this guy from Cotswold Collectibles. And the story goes is that I bought an initial first one. This was my second one that I bought. But I bought the first one, and the first one was pretty good. It was in decent shape. And I still have that one today, even now. But the box wasn't in fantastic condition. So I said, you know what? I want this guy, but I want him in museum, C10 museum, pristine condition. And I went back on the Cotswold Collectibles website, and they had another one. And in big bold letters, it said pristine condition. That's how they listed this guy. From the box, the vibrant colors of the sticker, the lettering, everything. Pristine condition. I knew right then I had to have this guy. And he cost a little bit more. Closer to, I believe I paid about $50, $55, $60 for this guy. So somewhere around there. Which is not bad for, for a 12-inch action figure that can say over 1,000 things. And so he's always been one of my favorites. And I am such a huge fan of the Hall of Fame line. So this is my electronic battle command Duke. I don't have a specific order that I like these guys in. Like, this is my all-time favorite. These are my top 10, I believe. This at the top is one of my crown jewels of my G.I. Joe astronaut collection. This is the F.E.O. Schwartz Friendship 7 G.I. Joe capsule with figure. Beautiful G.I. Joe figure. And move my guy to the side here so you can get a better look at him. That's my Friendship 7. Beautiful space capsule here. They did a fantastic job with the paint scheme. You see it's really still locked in there. This took me forever to find this. I would find this guy online, and the box would be in horrible condition. As you can see, this box is in beautiful condition, excellent condition. So I could never get this guy, and my in-laws got it for me one year. Not this one. They got it for me, and they're not collectors or anything like that. So they bought it off a site, toy website, that will remain unknown. And Christmas, I opened this guy, and it was all in pieces and parts. It was loose, and it wasn't even the right. It wasn't the right Friendship 7. It wasn't even the right capsule. It was another space capsule, and they didn't know. And I told them, you guys don't worry about me. Get your money back, because that's ridiculous. And so this was like finding Bigfoot in search of. It was very hard, very difficult set to obtain and acquire. Very hard, very difficult. But I found it on Cotswold Collectibles website. Cotswold Collectibles is a fantastic toy website. They have everything, but they have a massive inventory of G.I. Joes. So I found this guy on their website. Yes, he was very expensive. Somewhere in the ballpark of maybe 140, about 140 something dollars I paid for this set, including shipping and handling. So he was expensive, but well worth it. Very difficult to find, becoming very rare, especially in this condition. But he's here for your viewing pleasure, here at the museum, the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. And just a beautiful figure set. It comes with his hair, hose, everything, you name it. So that's my G.I. Joe Friendship 7 Space Capsule and Astronaut. Guys, we're just having fun on a Saturday down here in our museum. It's cold outside here in Ohio. It's kind of snowy. But we're nice and toasty here in the museum. And I got a pot of coffee on. So we're going to have some fun, guys. We're staring at my G.I. Joe 1st Marine Division Korea. This guy was another G.I. Joe that simply eluded me for well over a decade. And I had one shot at getting this guy a long time ago. And it was on a Black Friday back in 2000. So it was nearly 18 years ago. And I found this guy in a Toys R Us. And it was Black Friday though. So the lines was just astronomical in Toys R Us. I mean, they were really crazy. I mean, the lines were so long, they were intertwining between toy aisles. And I had this guy in my hand, and because I was with friends at the time, and this was in Michigan at the time. I was visiting some friends in Michigan, and I had this guy in my hands, waiting to have him, to purchase him, and I just couldn't wait any longer because we had other things we had to do. So I said, no big deal. When I get back to Ohio, I'll find this guy. Never found this guy. Never found this guy until my good friends at Coswell Collectibles had this guy on their website, and I purchased him. Yes, he's expensive. He's hard to find. And you see he comes with everything. But definitely worth it. Well worth the wait. Well worth what I spent for him, which I think was somewhere around the ballpark of $80. So that's my G.I. Joe 1st Marine Division Korea. Here we have another difficult, hard to find G.I. Joe. My World War II Liberators G.I. Joe Normandy Pathfinder. This guy was out for a second at toy stores around the country, and he was gone. He didn't stay out very long, and when that happens, that has all the makings of a highly collectible, exclusive, very hard to find, very rare and desirable G.I. Joe. And that's what my G.I. Joe Normandy Pathfinder was. And it took me a long time to find this guy. He's very expensive, very hard to find. And yes, I found this guy on Cotswold Collectible, on their website. And I believe I paid a little under $100 for this guy. Yeah, a little bit under $100. I think it was tax or something. It was like $90, $95, $96, somewhere around there. Today, I couldn't tell you what he's going for. He's so tough to find. You can see he's got his flashlight. Try me. He comes with everything. Just a ton of things. Weapons, accessories, beautiful head sculpt, helmet, tons of gear. He's layered up. Beautiful. And that's my Normandy Pathfinder. Here is a very cool one. Very hard to find. My Navy Dolphin handler. Just a very tough figure to find. Beautiful. The Dolphin, to me, was the selling point of this whole set. Got the camera on his fin there, locked in there. Real water play. Got the fins on. Cloth diving suit, which means it's not going to deteriorate over time. I got this guy off the Hasbro's website did not find this guy in a store. I never saw this guy in a store, and I think this is like around 2004. Never found this guy in a toy store. That's how hard he was to find. I don't think they made a lot of this particular figure, but super hard to find, very rare, awesome. And that's my Navy Dolphin handler. I have always had a weak spot for the deep sea diver G.I. Joes. This helmet, albeit iconic and classy and really super cool, but it's also like my favorite, and it's like it was always been a selling point for me for this G.I. Joe. Look at how beautiful this diving helmet is. You can see this is the Adventure Team. So he comes with the Kung Fu grip, lifelike hair. You can't see all of that in there because he's locked in there pretty good. I have another deep sea diver that has the die-cast metal. That's what I said. He could have easily made it on this stage. He's super heavy, but like I said, if I had to pick between the two, this would be my guy right here. Very hard to find. I saw him on eBay one time going for $200, and you see he comes with a little bit of everything here. Octopus there, diving boots, air hoses, weights, beautiful diving suit. Super cool. There's the iconic Adventure Team logo. There's the G.I. Joe logo there. And that's our 8 ropes of danger. Super hard to find. I got another deep sea diver coming from the Falcon line because I love those figures so much, and it's from Brazil. So stay tuned for that. So just beautiful figures. Move this guy up here. Here is my Navy deep sea diver, more modern version. Super hard to find. Beautiful. Real diving action. Instructions included. Found this guy at Walmart, actually. And just one of my absolute favorites. Every time somebody visits the museum, or they see the video on our playlist on our YouTube channel, this is the one figure that everybody asks me if I want to sell. I've gotten so many offers to purchase this figure from us. He's the only one I have, though. So you see he's got his clasp thing there. He's loaded with equipment, air hose, beautiful helmet, beautiful head sculpt. So he's like he's the one figure that, for whatever reason, everybody wants to buy this guy from me. Which makes him even super more special to me, because I really love this figure. Beautiful hand sculpts. And that's our G.I. Joe Navy deep sea diver. Push this guy back here. Here's a classic one here, under the radar. My G.I. Joe Search and Rescue Team Smokejumper. Super awesome. Parachute. A true working parachute. Absolutely gorgeous. I found this guy in Super Kmart for $19.99. Was not looking for this guy. Did not know this guy existed on my G.I. Joe radar, collector's radar. Didn't know anything about this guy. and what's happening out in California with the wildfires. We send our thoughts and our prayers to the state of California and all of the residents that's going through that terrible situation out there with the wildfires. These are the guys that they use to come in and help fight those fires. So that's why another reason why this Smokejumper means so much to me. It's what he represents in the process. Not the fact that he's a fantastic looking G.I. Joe, but what he represents and what's happening out in California right now truly ties this figure together. And like I said, it's a special meaning for me. I have a lot of collector buddies out in California. So like I said, my thoughts and prayers are with them and their families and their homes and their properties. You know, I hope they can get that situation under control quickly. But that's our G.I. Joe Search and Rescue Smokejumper. This gargantuan of a G.I. Joe, he's so big, this box has to be about 10 to 12 pounds. This is our G.I. Joe Adventure Team Secret of Planet Nam or Zam. I mean, it's one of the two. The exercise. A collector told me how to pronounce it. It's so hard, but I wish they would have gave it a easier name. But what it lacks in difficulty to pronounce the name, it completely makes up with super playability and just awesome imagination put into these figures. Here's the alien, which is massive, and he's to scale to our G.I. Joe. He's bigger than our G.I. Joe. But look at the helmet on G.I. Joe. Lifelike hair, beautiful head sculpt, one of my favorite head sculpts for the Adventure Team. This came back out in 2004. I bought this from Toys R Us. All the patches on him. Very hard to find, very expensive. It's becoming one of the more hard to find figures. Picture of his boot there. Beautifully done. And that's our Secret of Planet Nam. Guys, what do you think of our G.I. Joe collection? Do you have any of these guys? And we're gonna set this gentleman right here. I might have to hold him, I think. This is one of my favorites. My Secret Adventure Team G.I. Joe, Secret of the Mummy's Tomb. And my good buddy from the Skulls Review did a review on the Indiana Jones figure from a Walt Disney World figure. And it had the same sarcophagus with the mummy that reaches out. I didn't know what was inside it because I have the same set as he. I didn't know what, if that was the same one like this where the mummy reaches out, and it does, which is cool. So I have two mummies that reaches out from the tomb. And this is just a cool set. The G.I. Joe is beautifully done. Pistol in hand. I like the gear, the outfit. Jules, there's his whip, there's his dog tag there. Beautiful boots, those high boots there. But the mummy was definitely selling point. Guys, we'd like to thank you for hanging out with us. This has been super fun. These are my top 10 that I absolutely positively love so much. You know the routine, guys. God bless. and keep collecting.